Welcome back to another Quick Tip Tuesday. Today we're talking basic table saw safety. This isn't about the different cuts or jigs you can make with your personal table saw. This is just a few safety things to keep in mind when you're first starting out. Say you just got it, you might be a little scared, a little nervous. Just keep these things in mind and you'll start off right. Let's get right into it. So most, if not all, table saws come with your saw blade, a riving knife, which helps prevent the back of your workpiece pinching together and causing kickback, and a blade guard, which you don't see mine here. I took mine off a while ago. Never really used it, but don't do that until you're very comfortable with your table saw, so always use it when you're first starting off. And before adjusting anything that's anywhere close to your blade, please make sure your table saw is unplugged. Now let's scoot our fence over and start preparing to make our first cut. When possible, you always want to have the wider side of your cut against the fence. If you have the smaller side up against the fence, it might get pinched between the blade and the fence. This causes crazy kickback. Sometimes it'll shoot that little piece out, go through a wall. You just don't want that to happen. So on that note, where you stand is important as well. Don't stand directly behind your workpiece. Scoot out to the left, or if your fence is on the opposite side, scoot to your right. That way, if it does kick back and shoot out, it won't hit you right in the belly. Next, let's adjust our blade. This blade is way too high. You don't ever want your blade this high unless of course your material is a lot thicker. Let's bring that blade down to where just about a half of a blade tooth is sticking up above your workpiece. Obviously, the more a spinning blade is sticking up above your work surface, the more dangerous it is. This right here is plenty to cut through the wood and still keep you plenty safe. Now let's talk about what our hands are doing. You don't ever want to use just your hands, especially when you're closer to the blade. They come with these push sticks for a reason. This keeps your hands away from the spinning blade, keeps you a lot safer, and makes sure you still have all of your fingers. I don't necessarily like these little chicken feet push sticks that come with a table saw. I just feel like there isn't enough surface to keep that board pressed down, so you can make your own like I did with this one. Take any piece of scrap wood, just make sure there's some sort of notch on the bottom so that you can push forward as well as down. Yeah, that's pretty much the point of these, is to keep the workpiece down on the table while pushing it forward. With those chicken feet, you're just on the edge of your board. Doesn't really give much support, so make your own if you can. I suggest you do. Even if it's something more simple like a scrap piece of 2x4 with a block mounted to the bottom, anything's a lot better than those chicken feet push sticks. So we know that our right hand is pushing down and forward simultaneously. Our left hand is pushing up our workpiece against the fence, making sure we're cutting as straight as possible. I like to keep my thumb against this rail guide, use my middle finger to press against the fence, and use my index finger to push down on the board. Another method is to use the push stick that came with the saw to press up against the fence. This is honestly the only thing I might use this thing for. Other than that, it just sits somewhere. A third option is using one of these push blocks. I only suggest using these when the cutoff is a little bit wider. That way you're not getting too close to the blade. And if you want to spend a few bucks, you can get one of these magnetic feather boards. My tabletop is aluminum, so it doesn't stick too well, but it works perfectly on a cast iron table saw. But I can still use it on my table. I just have to press down into the side, and it keeps my hands away from the blade. We're just about ready to make our first cut, guys. Let's get our safety glasses or goggles on, some sort of dust mask. These things kick up a lot of sawdust, and ear protection. Stay safe in the shop, everybody. Hopefully your table saws were still unplugged during all of that. If so, high five, thank you for staying safe. Let's plug this in and start making our cuts. Alright, let's flip that switch on. Let your blade get to its speed first before pushing your workpiece through. And notice how my left hand isn't moving. You don't want to move with the workpiece as if you're using a push block. Keep your left hand locked there. Push your workpiece all the way through, past the blade, turn it off, and then you're good to go. I'll show you the same thing but with one of those magnetic feather boards and my preferred push stick. You can see how much more surface area on top this push stick is getting compared to that chicken feet one. This is why I love these so much. You'll notice the difference. It just feels way more secure, way more steady. Seriously guys, make your own or buy one, but you can easily make it from some scrap. Finally, let's do it with the push block. Like I said, I only use a push block when the cutoffs are a little bit wider and I'm not so close to the blade. Anything you can do to keep those fingies away from a spinning saw blade, I suggest you do it. Congratulations on making your first cut with your brand new table saw. It's not as hard or scary as it seems, guys. Just do it a few times, you'll feel comfortable, but obviously take those safety precautions. Unplug that table saw, lower that blade guard so you don't accidentally cut yourself, and stay safe in the shop. Alright guys, let me know if this video helped you make your first cut on your table saw. I know when I first turned this thing on, it terrified the hell out of me. I never used it, didn't want to touch it, scared me. Started using it, started to get more comfortable with it, and now it's my everyday tool that I use. Let me know what you guys thought, and for those who are already familiar with this, let me know if I missed anything so I'm not, misguiding people. Keep on woodworking, keep your fingers, stay safe. See you guys next week. And for those of you who are familiar with you cars,